Good morning. Today's lesson is on Megilat Eicha, part 5. B'Shem Hashem Naaseh V'Natzliach. So this shiur is for Refuah Shlema Avraham ben Chana, Rafael Chaim Meir ben Sima Chasha, Shimon Daniel ben Michal, Ora bat Dalia, Ditza Hadas bat Chana. And for Betoch Chole Amo Yisrael, and for all our soldiers to come home safely. ולעילוי נשמת נהיד שרה בת איראן, ואישה מריאנה בת אברהם, דוד בן זהרה, Aziwena bat Sarah. And for all singles to meet their partner in life, soon שיזכו לבנות בית נאמן בישראל. And thank you, Hashem, for all your chasadim that you have done with us in the past and will continue to do so in the future. So we come back again to the Tzeduki. We're not quite yet done with him. Remember with the Tzeduki, with the Rabbi Hanina. So the Tzeduki, he's saying that we will never be brought back from our galut, from our exile, because of the sinat chinam that is among us. According to him, never. It's never going to happen. Therefore, we can fulfill our mission of bringing back the nitzutzot hakedusha, the neshamot, because when there's division, when people are divided, they're separated from family and friends, we actually give power to the evil powers, to the kochot hatumah. They hold on to us and they keep us apart. They're very happy to see that we are divided. However, in the halachot for bringing a korban tamid, a korban that is, there's a daily korban that was offered, there was a daily korban sacrifice that was offered in the time of the Bet HaMikdash. On Erev Pesach also, regularly Erev Pesach, there was also a korban that had to be offered. So, in the halachot of the korbanot, it says that someone who is tameh cannot bring a korban, right? Someone who is not, he's not pure, he cannot bring a sacrifice, except in the case where most of the tzibur, most of the nation, or most of the community are tameh. They are also and pure. In this case, yes, we may bring a korban, we may bring a sacrifice, but again, we're talking about the korban tamid, the daily sacrifice. And so too, for korban Pesach, that had to be offered on Erev Pesach, the same thing the Torah says, if we are not pure, and it's most of us, most of the nation, then we are allowed to bring the korban. Not only that we're allowed to, but Hashem accepts it willingly and with rahamim. The Zera Shimshon explains that when Hashem sees that on our own, we are not able to elevate ourselves spiritually, we're not. We are so deep in the tum'ah that we can't. We just can't get out of it. And we try, but we are not able to on our own. The kochot hatumah, why we can't? Because the kochot hatumah, the evil powers, are not letting go of us. They're holding on to us very, very strongly. But Hashem won't let us fall further, won't let us go even deeper spiritually, because then we'll be destroyed. We'll be destroyed. That's it. There won't be Jews anymore, right? So there is such a thing as a spiritual light. Like Hashem had created the world with a spiritual light. It is a very powerful light. But it had to be taken away when Adam sinned. This light, Hashem uses it when there is a need for it. So Hashem shines a great light on us. It's a light that we don't see. It's a spiritual light. And obviously, since it is spiritual, it has Kedusha in it. And it is so powerful that it is able to push away the Kohot HaTum'ah, to push away the evil powers. And why does Hashem do it? Do we deserve it? Not really. But Hashem is doing it because He loves us, doesn't want to destroy us, to be destroyed. So for example, this is just on the side, Rabbi Zamir Cohen said that once a scientist wanted to see what does it do to a man when a Jewish man wears tefillin. What does it do? Okay, so they actually there was a Jewish man who was wearing his tefillin, and they put on him a laser light, which is very powerful, and with that light you can see things that otherwise you just normally you cannot see. And what did they see? They saw that above the head of this man, there was an aura above his head, a light shining above his head. And like I said, but this is not something we can see. This is something that they were able to see only because they used a laser light. So it's I just brought this as an example of what the light we're talking about. So it's a light, a spiritual light that we do not see. And so the same happened in Mitzrayim. In Yetziat Mitzrayim, at the time of Yetziat Mitzrayim, Ben Israel did not deserve to be saved. But on the other hand, if not, that was going to happen. Will be destroyed. But the Koach HaTum'ah, but the Kochot HaTum'ah, we could not stay not even one moment longer. Would have been lost forever. Why? Because Jews had gone down so low spiritually that they were very close. They were down to number 49, to the 49th level of Tum'ah, of impurity. They needed just one more level down, number 50, and that's it. Jews would have been lost forever. So, and Hashem would not have been able to save us and take us out of Mitzrayim. So at that time, what did Hashem do? Hashem brought out a very powerful spiritual light, the light of Kedusha, of purity, in Mitzrayim, right? On the night when Ben Israel were celebrating the Seder, because that was actually the first Seder that Jews celebrated. They did it first in Mitzrayim. And the Koach HaTum'ah, because of that light, the Koach HaTum'ah were cancelled. Then Ben Israel were free of Tum'ah. And only then was Hashem able to take them out of Mitzrayim. So too, when Hashem will bring Mashiach, when Hashem will bring the Geulah, let us hope Bezrat Hashem soon. If we don't merit, we don't deserve it, we will be saved. Why we won't be deserving? Because we didn't finish our mission. We didn't bring out all those neshamot that are supposed to be brought out. And we are deep inside the tum'ah of the world. So Hashem will blow on us a ruach ta'ara, like a wind, a purity, a wind of purity, not just a wind that's like as we see the wind blowing on the trees and dust and stuff like that we see daily. But this kind of wind is a spiritual wind. It's a wind that will make us pure. It's a purifying wind, and it will purify our heart to serve Hashem. And all the kochot hatum'ah, all the evil powers will be cancelled. As the pasuk says, Re'eh ki be'oni, Re'eh Hashem, be'oni ki higdil oyev. I repeat again, Re'eh Hashem be'oni ki higdil oyev. We are asking Hashem to look at our suffering. Oni is suffering because the enemy is overpowering. Meaning, when Hashem sees that the spiritual enemy, the Kochot HaTum'ah, the evil powers, are overpowering us, then right away Hashem will save us. Yeh Ratzon Be'ezrat Hashem, that should be soon, and it soon will save us. In Pasuk Chaf of Megilat Eicha, Perek Aleph, it says, Re'eh Hashem, Titzar li, me'ai homar maro, nehepach libi bekirbi. We sing to Hashem, Hashem, please look, I'm distressed. Look how the Goyim are hurting me. Because they are hurting me, my insides, it kavtzu, they are tightening. You know, just like when you have a feeling when you're nervous, you feel the inside tightening, that's how it is. And my heart is turned over inside me. Why? Because I did not keep your Torah. Ki maro mariti. Because I rebelled and I did not keep the Torah. And then what? Michut shikla cherev babayit kamavet. Outside, the sword is killing. People are dying. And inside, the terror is like death. Because I know they're coming. They're going to kill us. So the fright, the fear is a terror. And that is like death. Bnei Israel try to find comfort from others, from their friends, supposed friends. But en menachem la, but nobody came to help or to comfort Bnei Israel. Then they turned to Hashem. Hashem, see how terrible I feel. I feel so terrible that my insides are tightening. My heart turns over. Why? Because I regret my rebellious acts, my rebellious actions. I admit that I have violated, I have broken your will, Hashem, and I accept the suffering, the punishment. Chachamim tell us that suffering was more, at the time of the destruction, it was more than what the Torah had predicted. Because it says in Sefer Devarim, this is what's going to happen if you don't follow the Torah. In the Torah, in Devarim, it says the sword outside will be more powerful, but there will be terror inside the homes. However, the death-like terror, that's how they felt. The terror was so strong, it was like dying. That they felt was they were so scared at the time of the destruction. It was more severe than predicted by the Torah. It was a lot more than what Hashem said would happen. Now, Yerushalayim has been destroyed. And we know there are many reasons why Yerushalayim was destroyed and why so many of us died. Many Jews died. Some people say, some Chachamim say, as many as 6 million Jews died at the time of the Churban. And so we also know that Limud Torah, the study of the Torah, is something that is extremely important. The world cannot exist, not even for 1 second, if there's no Torah going on, Torah learning going on. That's why, in fact, we have different time zones. Right now, it's whatever it is. It's 11:30 in Israel. They are 6 or 7 hours ahead of us. In Australia, it's I don't know how many hours. In China, it's also again different time zones. Why do we have the different time zones? And the reason is so that when we are sleeping, there are people who are awake, and they still can learn Torah. So that the world should not be left without, not even a second, without learning Torah. So Chachamim is asking a question that we need to ask about how much Torah study a person must do, but on the other hand, we also need to work for Panasa. So how do we balance this? How do we do this so that we fulfill our mission of learning Torah and so the world can continue to exist and the suffering will be less in the world? How? So Bezrat Hashem, our next lesson, we'll answer that question. May Hashem bless us and protect us, send us Yeshuot, and send us Mashiach soon, very soon, to end all the tzarot, all the suffering of Am Yisrael, wherever they are.